Hello and welcome to MFS and the Hub. I'm Ross to Boston. Yes, I'm here with Flat to Bone, Casey Scheinfeld. And yes, we're here to talk waiver wire week 18, Casey. And I'm
Yeah,
excited because football camps are opening up today. How about that? Today, football camps are opening, which is
it is
unbelievable.
exciting. We're getting ready for an exciting part of the year, that's for sure.
So, as we know, waiver wire we've been doing for 3 or 4 months now. It's been a long time. And hopefully you've been taking some of our advice. Maybe none of it, maybe all of it. I don't know. But you know, I want to let you know that now, if you're in rotisserie leagues and you're looking for stolen bases or you're looking for home runs, this is when you got to pick up that certain player that's hitting dingers or stealing bases. And it's very important that you do that stuff now because the season's going to be ending in 2 months. So, Casey, that being said, my number one pickup for the week, because I'm weak at stolen bases, is Chandler Simpson of Tampa Bay. He's fifth in the league with stolen bases. He's hitting 308. I know he has no power, but I'm just bringing his name up quickly because I feel if you need stolen bases, this guy, and he missed some of the season. He was in the minors. They brought him back. And ever since he's been back, he's been hitting like over 320. I mean, the guy's just been on fire. But
Yeah.
stolen base wise, for me, I know he's not going to win you any triple crowns or anything. But in the stolen base department alone and batting average, he's going to help your team tremendously. So for me, that's who I'm picking up this week, Casey.
Yeah,
So,
and remember, he's that ranking that in the league, and he spent a good amount of time in the minors. So that's 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 with less opportunities than a lot of the players who are
yeah,
above him, if not all of them. So yeah, I mean, look, it is a key time now in fantasy baseball to identify, especially in roto, the categories where you have the best chance to make as many points up as possible, and to target those. And maybe it's home runs, maybe it's steals, maybe it's saves and holds if you're in one of those leagues, and to start focus, not just necessarily looking for the best all around player that's available on the waiver wire, but to get the guy who benefits your team the most. And so, like Ross said, if you can get 7 steals, if you add 7 steals and it gives you 4 full points, it'll let you pass 3 or 4 people just in that category. Who cares what the other statistics are like? You're at a point now where you have enough at bats that your batting average is not going to swing drastically in one direction or another because you have a guy who only bats 214 as opposed to a guy who bats 350. The batting average is such a cumulative statistic, whereas stolen bases, home runs, RBIs, all those other counting stats, 5, 6, or 7 total in any one of those categories can have a huge swing on your production. Whereas going 400 this week with all your guys in batting average might bring your team average from 237 to 240. It's not going to have enough of an impact. And so, yeah, those other counting stats become a lot more important. So that's a great call, Ross.
yeah. So that's why I'm taking Chandler Simpson, just because of the stolen bases. Like you said, batting average. It's it's so hard to like lose a lot and gain a lot in so little time, but it's
Yeah.
possible. Um, but again, the categories like you said, home runs, RBIs, and stolen bases, those are categories you can definitely start jumping on other teams on. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it's why I had a similar idea to you, because, and on the pitching side, whip and ERA aren't going to swing
No,
huge from one direction or another anymore if you've been accumulating innings pitched at the rate that is average up to this point. And so, like, for me, looking at the Dodgers, you got Kirby Yates, and then you have Blake Trinan coming off the IL. I think he's supposed to come off either like today or tomorrow.
I think he's in
Um,
rehab.
yeah, and
Um,
he just had another great rehab start.
and Tanner
So
Scott for the Dodgers, like he
he
had
went
another
down with an
failed
injury,
outing
right?
yesterday. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just horrible.
And he's now got a forearm issue. So,
Yeah, he came
you
out of the
know,
game. Do you see how he came out of the game? Well, you're probably asleep, but it was full count, and he called for the trainer to come out, and the trainer took him out of the game.
Yeah, and so they're going to be struggling for those late inning guys, and that's where Kirby Yates probably has the edge right now because he's healthy. But Blake Trinan, we've seen what he can do in that closer's
Yeah.
role or that setup role, and so he's going to come into late inning positions, and he can give you that edge in saves or holds, depending on that league. On
Yeah, I
the
think the Dodgers will be trading for a closer next week. I
yeah,
can almost guarantee you on that one. Um, I don't think they're going to get Suarez. I think he'll go either to the Yankees or maybe to.
I think going back to the Mariners would be
I mean, the
interesting too.
Giants are in talks with him. I mean, there's some other teams, but I really think he's going to be a Yankee. Mariners are in talks with him. You're right, and the Giants I know are, but I think that the Yankees make the most sense. But we'll see what happens.
You know, a guy I'm interested in seeing is he has to stay healthy, but Royce Lewis, you talked about him last week. I think he's
Yeah,
been terrible up until up into July and hurt a couple times, but the last week he's been hitting the ball really well, and we've seen the numbers he's capable of putting up in 2 to 3 or 4 week bursts with regards to home runs, and he can run, and he got his first steal in a while this past week. He's another guy on the batting side, and especially because third base is weak, that I am interested in if he's out there, because I think he's available in almost 60% of leagues or 55% of leagues, that I would be interested in throwing onto my bench and seeing if he stays healthy, because we've seen how dynamic he can be in those RBIs, runs, stolen bases, and home runs, the four of the roto stats that you can accumulate points pretty quickly in.
yeah. Who else, Casey, is on your wish list for this week to pick up? Um, that's under 60%. You can't say, Aaron Judge. Obviously, he's over 98%.
Yeah.
But who's on your list of guys that you want to grab or maybe consider?
There's a couple catchers actually I'm interested in adding.
Go.
One is Drake Baldwin. We've talked
Yeah, he
about
had
him
a
before.
monster game yesterday. Did
Yeah,
you see
six
the?
RBIs, I
Oh
think.
my! Wow.
Um, and look, he is. There's talk about the trade of Sean Murphy because the Braves aren't in it, and Sean Murphy can get them some bit of a return. So that's great to give him a majority. And catcher is so weak that you can make up points pretty quickly if you have an above average one there. And then I like my rookies. I like my prospects. And Adrian Del Castillo of the Diamondbacks, who was called up last week, he held his own in the majors last year, hitting 313 in a small sample. And in 156 games at AAA, I read he batted 296 with 32 home runs. So this is a guy who he's left-handed swinging. So even if he's a platoon, he's the strong side, the long side of that platoon facing right-handed pitching with the kind of dearth of talent at the catcher position. He's somebody I'd be interested in adding if I'm looking for, especially in two catcher leagues. In two catcher leagues, he's a no-brainer. But even in single catcher leagues, if I'm dealing with somebody who's struggling or not putting up the numbers, Adrian Del Castillo is somebody I'm strongly considering.
Well, how about Victor? I had this guy on my list just because I was looking at his stats. I was like, this guy's a catcher. He plays on a pretty good team in Houston. Victor Carantini. Hope I said it right. He's hitting 272, Casey, 10 home runs. He again, he doesn't play every day, but he does play a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on him?
Look, if he's not somebody who's long on my radar, but if he's producing and you have positions on your roster that aren't producing, I think anybody is worth a speculative ad at this point and ride it for as long as it is. We're looking at more streamer type players when we're talking about Victor Carantini. But at this point, why wouldn't you take the chance with him?
Now, I'll give you a couple more players. Of course, I got to talk about the Reds because they're my team, and we almost swept the Mets. We came this close.
Oh, that was hard.
Austin Hayes, our cleanup hitter at KC,
Yeah.
40 RBIs in 50 games. He's hitting 284. He has 10 home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's legit, and we talked about that Great American Ballpark. I mean, the ball flies out of there in the summer, and August, September, this guy should have some monster numbers. And
Yeah, and look, he was a good player in Baltimore who was a victim of when they moved those fences out in left field and all of that power kind of became difficult for him, and he had trouble staying healthy, right? Like Austin Hayes was a good prospect when he came up. They predicted really good things for him. The talent's there. Cincinnati's a great opportunity for him because he's going to get the playing time if he stays healthy. It's a great ballpark. I don't think it's a bad call at all. Along the same lines, what about Giancarlo Stanton? The guy's only 30% owned. I know he's not the elite player he was 5-6 years ago when he won his MVP for the Marlins, but he's batting fifth in that Yankees lineup. And when he's healthy, they're going to keep him in there. And we know that this guy can hit home runs in bunches and drive in runs in bunches. So he's somebody I'd be looking at too. And then in Colorado, we've talked a lot about Mickey Moniak because he's been having a good year, the former number one pick. But Jordan Beck is healthy too. And this is a guy who's a power speed guy when he came up. And he's only 17% owned. He's batting 400 since the All-Star break, has a home run, has a stolen base, scores a few runs. Somebody who, when healthy and given the chance to play, can give you those counting stats we're talking about.
I like Mickey Moniak too. I mean, he's hitting 271. I think he has 14 home runs for the year. I mean,
the ceiling's a little capped with him, I think.
Yeah.
But it's not, he's not somebody whose ceiling is capped so low that he can't help your fantasy team. He may never be a top 10 outfielder, top 15 outfielder in the league, which we all want on our team. I get that. We all want the Fernando Tatis Jr. We all want the Juan Soto. But, in a 12-team league, you're going to be lucky to get one of those guys on your roster, maybe two if you draft really savvy early or get lucky. But your third and fourth outfielders, you're looking at the Mickey Moniak types. You're looking at the guys who don't hurt you, but don't necessarily provide you those elite statistics.
No, I like it. And some other guys, I don't want to spend too much time on them, but they're still like under 60%. And I still think they can be very useful in fantasy baseball. And we talked about him a lot. Is Nick Kurtz. I don't want to get into a conversation.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's 71% owned now.
Oh, is he? And then what's Novelli Marte of the Reds?
Let me check.
That Kurtz went up so quick. I remember when.
Well, it was about time. He's only 29% owned still. He's batting 277 with 6 home runs and 5 stolen bases on the season. So, but that's only in 100 at bat. So. He's definitely somebody I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, again, we'll take another red. And then starting pitching wise, I really scoured, and there's so many bad pitchers that aren't picked up that I'm not going to mention. The one that caught my eye that's under 60% is Trevor Rogers of Baltimore.
Yeah, we talked about him last week.
I feel he's going to be traded. I feel he'll go to a contender, and I feel he'll get some really good quality starts wherever he goes.
Yeah.
But I like Trevor Rogers. I really didn't have anybody else pitching wise. Anybody else you like?
Taj Bradley, I like.
God, he's a horrible year. I mean, Taj has just been bad.
Yeah.
I wish I had something good to say, but I don't. It's just like gas on a fire with Taj Bradley. I mean, just like Walker Buehler, another guy that gets racked.
Yeah.
Every time he pitches, it's embarrassing.
Gavin Williams for
he's been better. You're right. I like Gavin.
In the last let's see, what's the last 30 days been like for him? 3.4 ERA, a strikeout per inning. And we know he comes from a top prospect pedigree. Cleveland has a good history with their pitching development. So he's somebody I'm interested in too. But outside of that, you're right. There's kind of I'm curious to see what happens next week between now and the trade deadline to see where some pitchers are moved, because that's going to shake up the landscape and the value of a lot of these guys too.
I dropped him, then I picked him up again this week because I know he's going to be traded. Is Zach Gallen milk? I mean, yeah, Zach Gallen for sure is going to be traded.
Look, Zach Gallen hasn't been the same since they decided to allow him to throw like 240 odd innings the year they made it to the World Series. I just think he got overused. In the last 2 years, you've seen the effect of that. I'm hoping a change of scenery helps him, because this guy was a pinpoint control, low whip, not necessarily a great strikeout guy, but he was elite. And then I think when they made their World Series run, I'm worried they just wore out his shoulder, and he hasn't been the same since. So hopefully he can turn it around because he's such a great player.
Yeah, I think next week when we're doing the show, I think we'll get there'll be some new landscape, new trades, new stuff going on, and we'll be talking about it. Before we leave, I want to talk to you about Rich Hill, our cover guy.
Oh my God, how great is that? 45 years old.
Yeah, 45 years old. This is his 14th team.
And his fastball's like 86 miles an hour. And
he's 45. He's starting today in Chicago.
Against one of the best hitting teams in baseball at Wrigley Field. I mean, I just think that's crazy.
I mean, what's your thought? I mean, I think he'll pitch 3-4 innings. I don't think he'll go that long.
Oh, I don't even care. I just am excited.
I think
it gives us guys who are still in our 40s. Now I'm barely in my 40s and almost into my 50s, but it makes me feel all kind of warm and fuzzy to think that somebody close enough to my age is still swinging it. I mean, he could be I don't know. Is his birthday 1980 or 1979?
I don't know.
If he turns 46 this year, he was born in the 70s. That would make me feel even better.
I mean, it's a great story. I love how he's still playing. I love how this team that still wants him to pitch. I hope he pitches well. I think it'd be great.
It gives me hope that Bartolo Colon's still going to be out there somewhere, and I'm going to see him throw again. Him and Jamie Moyer, bring them all out.
Charlie Huff.
And Charlie Huff. Any knuckleballer is good with me.
Yeah. Anybody that Phil Necro, anybody that can throw the knuckleball can pitch till they're dead. So it's all good. It should be fun to watch. I'm excited to watch that game. KC, we'll be back on Thursday for a quick waiver wire show, and then we'll talk NFL with Dr. Dan Ratner at 1:00 Pacific, 4:00 Eastern. And I believe we're talking about wide receivers.
I think we're talking tight ends, actually.
Tight ends. My number one tight end is Bowers of Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
That's my number one. Brock
I'm
Bowers.
Going Mark Bavaro, New York Giants.
Mark Bavaro is my second pick. I love him too. That's a great one. But we'll talk tight ends. I don't know why we're doing tight ends before whatever. It's fine. This makes no sense. Okay, so that's our show for today. I'm Ross the Boss, and that's KC Vlad to the Bone Scheinfeld. We'll be back on Thursday. And if you have any comments or anything else to say, you can always press comments and go away, do your stuff.
And we will respond.
We're happy to respond, but we're excited for football. I mean, I'm jumping.
All right, Ross, I will see you on Thursday.
Go